Welcome to the Incredibly Average Podcast. I'm Devin, and I'm joined by
Travis Fisher,
Eric,
Johnny,
Mike.
And today we're going to be talking about something that we all secretly fear but secretly crave, stepping outside of your comfort zone. We all know the comfort zone, that safe little bubble where nothing changes, nothing challenges us, therefore nothing really grows. But what happens when we push past the edge of that bubble and take on the unknown? In today's episode, we're exploring why we stick to what's easy, the magic of embracing discomfort, and how those small, scary steps can lead to some pretty incredible growth. So grabs your... This is corny. So grab your courage, maybe a cup of coffee, because it's time to get comfortably uncomfortable. So first, I just wanted to recap a little bit about the last episode and, just putting this thing out there. I can get into some analytics a little bit about the episode. First, I wanted to ask you guys, just ballpark, not that it matters. I want you guys to try to guess how many listeners we got total over overall platforms. So 27 says Mike.
I was going with like 19.
19.
38.
38. Okay. All right.
Locking it in.
Respectable. So I'm just bringing it up here. On Spotify, total we got 87 streams.
Let's go.
Okay.
87. We got 22 hours of total consumption. So
Jesus.
people were listening to it a little bit, which is kind of weird, kind of crazy to me.
Wow.
We got 15 followers on Spotify. Shout out to the 15 followers.
I wasn't even one of them.
I was gonna say there's 5 of us here, so that means there are 10
Yeah,
people that.
I didn't follow it.
Followed it, but
Alright,
and
but
then
we got
I don't have it up, but on Apple Podcasts we put it up like a week ago, maybe less than that. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was a few days ago.
But we had 19 on there, so
Wow.
we're up above 100
impressed.
for our first episode, so that's not bad, And it doesn't count a stream unless someone plays it for at least a minute. So
Hey, big things.
yeah, so hey, we got at least a minute 88 or over 100 times. So shout out to everyone who listened to our first episode. Hopefully they get better from there on out. It was we were on a struggle bus with the audio and the editing was a little rough, but hey, it worked. How did you guys feel? Did you guys feel a little weird about it? I mean, I felt a little weird, I'm not going to lie, putting it out there.
I listened to it in my car and as I was working, and honestly, it didn't feel that weird listening to us talk. It wasn't that weird to hear my own voice, kind of like when I'm listening to a different podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually surprised that I didn't think it was that weird personally.
Yeah.
It just seemed like I was listening to any other podcast that I'd listened to.
I always feel a little weird listening to myself talk.
I usually do
in
too.
Videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate listening to myself talk.
Yeah, I always think my voice sounds different than everybody else's.
I more so felt I was fine up until I was about to post it, like put it out there and everything. I was like a little bit not embarrassed, just what's the word?
You're nervous a little bit.
A little nervous,
Yeah.
I guess, just to kind of. I mean, it's like
You're just putting something out there.
Just a little bit of anxiety comes in. Like
right.
You're excited to do it, but you don't know what feedback you're gonna get. You don't know if people are gonna say we sounded stupid, right?
Yeah.
Which some people probably did, but
I'm
people
sure.
seem to have liked it too.
Yeah, and that's totally fine. I mean, not everyone's gonna like or even want to listen to you.
No.
I got some good feedback. That honestly, some people were like it was a little boring, but I mean, since we knew you, it was fine.
One person I know said it was a podcast.
That's pretty accurate. My aunt said that it wasn't very relatable for me.
Oh, well,
So
I guess that's probably true.
it's I mean it's true. I mean not everybody,
It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Yeah.
but other than that, I mean it was cool. I thought it was interesting to we got some support from some
People.
seemingly random folks that reached out a little bit, commented
Yeah.
on our stuff that I didn't expect to, that were listening to it.
Mhm.
So shout out to them. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting couple weeks putting it out there. We're gonna keep going and see how it goes. We're on episode 2 now, titled "Out of the Box into the Chaos," because we're kind of launching into our uncomfortability series, where we're gonna be doing things that are pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to get into what we're going to be doing for either the next 2 weeks or the next few months into the next year. But just to kind of get that started, And then we'll be talking about that again on the next episode. And then we'll have some new stuff to go over as well. All right. And we're going to take a brief second for a quick message from our sponsor, Kyla's Creations.
You want me to say something again?
Yeah, it's your wife.
This podcast is sponsored by Kyla's Creations. Anything from wonderful, delicious cutout cookies to thumbprint cookies from every holiday, Christmas, Halloween, and even your graduation parties. Kyla's Creations has the treat you're looking for.
Shout out to Kyla's Creations. We got our cookies in front of us. Eric's been munching on them.
I love munching on your wife's cookie.
Wow, that's crazy. All right, before we really get into this episode here, I heard a crazy take just before we started recording, and I need to get some elaboration on it. Johnny, let me hear it again.
All I'm saying is Michael Jordan's not top 5. That we'll talk about it later.
I think a lot of people our age might agree with that.
Do you
What?
agree with that? Top 5 all time?
Top 5
could see
like
him
bakers?
Are
we talking here?
basketball? Yeah, what are we talking?
You're talking basketball all
Michael
time,
B.
top
Jordan
5.
or Michael Jordan?
This is
basketball?
Michael Jordan, the basketball player. And Johnny's saying he's not top 5 all time.
I think he could be 5 or he could be out of it.
You agree?
So I thought
double down?
I thought when they first said it that they were talking like right now, like everyone in their prime, not even like taking into consideration like time periods. You know, we're talking right now, everyone in their prime. Basketball's evolved, humans evolved, athletes have evolved, science has evolved. Like everyone's just going to continue to get better. So like right now, Michael Jordan, what he was in the 80s, probably would be right now 8, like top 8 of all time. But if we take into like, you know, consideration time periods, he's 1 or 2 by far. What he did in the 80s and 90s is fucking insane. That's it.
Trav, we got to hear your side of this because, I mean, who's your top 5 then?
I just
I don't have a top 5 in my head ready. I just can see people maybe our age thinking that he is maybe 5 or out of that top 5.
But we're not just talking about people our age. We're talking about you specifically, Johnny, Trav. You guys think he's 5 or lower?
And we
I'm
are
just
5
saying-
people that have never witnessed him play. I want to be completely clear on that. Yeah, but the thing is, like, the whole point, Michael was, like, inventing shit that is still used today. But the problem is, like, the things he invented, everyone can do now. Like, all 5 starters on every team can do what he did.
True.
That's just realistic. You got big men pulling dribble moves. I mean, like, you got big men that can bring it up the court. There's, you know, that's just kind of how it is. Basketball is going to evolve. Athletes are going to evolve. That's how it is. But if we want to talk about, you know, greatest of all time, and as we should make time periods relevant, yeah, MJ's 1 or 2. No, like, not even a question.
If he was 2, who would be 1?
Bron, by far.
So
I don't think anyone's
Jordan's
gonna-
better than Kobe.
Yeah, you'll have a couple people that slide in because like there was that time period where people were having the Bron Jordan debate that like people were trying to slide Kobe as the number 1,
Right.
and which is fine. He was like goated. He's in my top 5 for sure. I don't think I put him at 3, but he's top 5 easily without a doubt.
I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if people maybe our age thought that he was 5 or less. That's
They
all.
never got to see him. They never saw him play. That's completely fair.
But
It's also just ignorance, but yeah. You're telling me 1996 Jordan, no one's gonna...
I think they're faster than him.
Yeah, everyone's faster, jumps higher, everyone's better now. Like by far.
Should bet way better
By a lot.
receivers.
Now if Jordan would got the 30 years of advancement like everyone else got,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. He's
Mhm.
that dude's skill set was insane. He was inventing things. That's nuts.
Right.
That's it. We moving on. Larry Bird would get fucking stuffed in this league.
I think
Our next guest next week is the guy who did stats for the Chicago Bulls in the 90s who made up shit for Michael Jordan.
That's real.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's going to be our next
That is
guest.
a real
that's
thing.
our next guy.
Someone went back and rewatched Michael Jordan videos and took stats and compared them.
They were just like adding in a steal,
On
a
home
block.
games.
Wow. You could get away with that back then, I guess.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
just writing
that's
it
true.
down.
So, did you start playing Clash of Clans, Eric? Is this what's happening now?
After the discussion we had last week, I considered it and I decided not to.
Good decision. You are not 12 anymore, and that is a very manly decision.
And I thought that was very powerful of me to do and to take a stance against it.
Talk about being comfortably uncomfortable. You did something against the grain here. You've got
It's okay to not want to have fun.
you've got you
He
got a couple
clearly
guys
does.
across from you who will not stop playing it right now.
Not just that, but the peer pressure is ridiculous.
I don't think that's true.
I think it's been evident here that Eric does not enjoy fun because he won't play Fortnite.
That's
I'm just gonna put that out there.
I'm sorry that I don't follow the norm. I don't conform to you guys.
You don't have to conform, but if you
Eric, I don't think Fortnite's
enjoy-
fun either.
I don't need that new Juice World skin, okay? I'm okay.
You don't need any
It's cool.
skin. It's cool skin. You don't need any skin. It's just about
Mike got a
dropping
couple-
in.
Mike got a couple of victory royales in that skin.
Yeah, I just want
That's
to keep it
pretty
a buck. He's going to talk about not downloading like Clash of Clans or playing Fortnite, but he'll sit in platinum the Plucky Squire. I just want to toss that.
That's a fire indie game.
I'm
And
tossing
hey,
that out. That's all I'm saying. He played a game where you're just a slice of cheese or a slice of bread.
you're a slice of bread. I am bread, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, hey, I'll let you judge a little bit. I've been playing this week. Have you heard of Fast Penguin?
So look, I'm not really hating because I would play these games. I would die for these
It's
games.
like it's similar to like a Fall Guys. Okay, and you know I go hard. Hey, can I ask you a question, Devin?
Sure.
Because I'm very curious. What happened to the logos that you commissioned?
Yeah, what did happen?
Yeah, so I
Did you get
I
copyrighted?
googled a company that did some graphic design, and the first one that came up, I just went on their site. I paid $30 for like 5 logos, and well, I was supposed to be able to pick 3 of their 5 that they would send, which was great. So I gave them details about what I wanted. They made some pretty sweet logos. When I tried to get them from them, I paid $30. They were supposed to be mine after that. They should have just emailed me. I was talking to him this whole time through email, and actually I talked to him on the phone several times because he wanted more information.
Mhm.
So when it came to time, like I emailed him 3 times in a row, like, "Hey, are you gonna send me this logo?" And he's like,
Are you just gonna say that you
He's
got
like-
scammed?
he called me. He called me again, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you to our legal team." And at this point, I'm like, "Really? Like, okay, go ahead, send me to your legal
For
team."
$30?
And they go, "Okay," because they have my card on file. They used it.
Is this a real story?
Yes.
This is crazy.
This is true.
I did not know about this.
This is what happened with these logos. They were sweet, and I went to this lawyer, and this lawyer's like, "Are you familiar with like copyright, like how to copyright stuff?" And I was like, "No, I've never done it before."
Mhm.
He's like, "Well, basically, we just want to protect you from getting sued." And I'm like,
What the?
"That's fine. I mean, I'm using it as an Instagram profile picture.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to sue me for this. I'm not putting it on gear or merch or anything."
Right.
So he's like, "Either way, we don't want to release it unless it's copyrighted." And he's like, "Do you want me to just charge the $500 to your card?" And I was like, "Hold on, $500 to copyright this thing and send it to me?" He's like, "Yeah, that's normal. Like, just, I mean, it's up to you, but." I was like, "How about you just send it to me without copyrighting it, and I won't use it." I was just gonna use it, but he never did, and they didn't charge me, but I never got him. Long story short,
But it was only $30.
I lost
This
$30.
wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah, I got scammed.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It probably was like legit, but
Well,
he wasn't upfront with like that.
Well, it depends on the wording that was used, but it's not worth fighting.
it seemed a little sketchy. Like, I looked up how much it should be, and it was like 200.
The copyright.
Yeah, so I think they were upcharging that side of it. But I get it that you probably should. I've never like had a design made for anything that makes sense to do, but for that much money, I at least wanted to look it up myself before I call them back and tell them go ahead. And it was way higher than what I saw, so I just let it go. I did ask him to send them me several times, and I just told him I wouldn't use them, but I don't know if they trusted that.
I'm guessing
I was
that's
gone.
why he didn't send it, right? But at least it was only $30.
We can create such a basic logo.
I do have a pretty basic one.
I was gonna say we can make one very easily.
Yeah, I have. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. It's pretty average.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the logo. I just remember the ones you showed us.
And they were kind of sweet.
There was some heat on there, so
They were sweet, and I wish I could have. I mean, we could still get them
Yeah.
somewhere.
Hey,
but
if we have any fans out there that would love to create us a logo for the
Yeah.
Incredibly Average podcast that's artistic, you
Reach
are more
out.
than welcome to reach out to us, direct message us, and maybe if you want to send us something our way.
we're not picky. I
We're
mean,
not
check-
picky.
Look
We
at
would
our
use
logo.
it. Just an idea if anyone's interested.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I did it.
Any of our day ones out there.
Anybody who's listening since the beginning, this is clip art. We got clip art on our logo.
Whatever gets the job done. you
Yeah,
know?
it works. All right, so to finish off the episode here, we're going to get into what we're going to be doing to get out of our comfort zones a little bit, learn, grow, explore, discover. I guess first to follow up on the last episode, what's so funny? All right, Eric. Let's get into it a little bit. So you talked last week that you are starting a new job. That's pretty big. And you started it Monday?
I started last Friday.
Last Friday. Oh, wow. You started on Friday. How's it going? Talk about it.
I was fired. I'm just kidding. I'm 5 days in. It's been kind of chill. Nice change of pace. I had the last 2 days off. I won't normally have Fridays off. All the staff has been kind so far, super welcoming, and all the patients who we deal with have been super helpful, knowing that I'm new, learning the ropes and everything. And I talked about my travel time, right? This job is only 25 to 30 minutes away rather than the hour, and it's been an incredible change.
That's nice.
I'm like 15 minutes down the road, and I'm already reaching my exit, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it's been super nice.
What you're used to, at least.
Yeah, so it's been cool so far. I don't know anything about chiropractic work. I'm just working in the office, right? We have 2 doctors that do the adjustments and everything.
Wait, what is your job? Like, what's your
Do you have a title?
title? Yeah.
So
Be considered.
I don't
yet.
I don't think I have an actual title, but
like,
I am
like office. Like,
So-
Front desk.
yeah,
Assistant kind of.
I am working like front desk, like reception stuff, but like there's a mixture. There's only 8 of us that work there. 2 of them are the doctors. One just works in the back, handling more insurance stuff. What I do is answer calls, set up appointments, check people in. I handle the files. I get them prepped, and then I also, after the adjustments are done and everything, I help put them on other machines. Like we have decompression machines that help stretch people's spines out and whatnot. I got to strap them up to that, and
you strap people up to
yeah. So I deal with that. Yeah, a lot.
that
And
has
then,
been your fantasy for a while. You get
I'm-
paid for it.
yeah,
That's a different.
something like that. That's in a future episode. That's after hours. But and then we put people on these, I think they're called like Tim's units,
Yeah.
where you put these like pads on them and crank up the heat, and it sends like electrical pulses to their body to like help with nerves and everything.
Have you ever tried to drink a beer with a 10
I don't drink, and if you were a real friend, you would know this.
Have you tried to
Damn.
drink anything? That's gonna be the next-
That's at Travis's wedding last year.
I said, have you ever?
No to the second part of being hooked up, but a lot of that, hooking people up, taking them off. We also have a machine that helps with their like neck. So I got to hook them up to that. It's all very simple. It's just making sure everything's right, because obviously you're dealing with people's bodies and you don't want to mess that up, and putting in the numbers correctly in the machine, because if you put them in wrong, you could damage someone's body.
Yeah.
Which would be bad. Then we got these roller massage beds that people just lay on them, and I just got to crank it up.
So
So
you're like working on people a little bit.
yeah,
like-
very much. I mean,
I thought it would just be a front desk job.
no,
Like, I didn't
I'm
think-
moving around a lot, and talking to a lot of customers and everything, and
Helping out, actually. Like,
yeah.
So do they have you going through any training courses or anything like that?
No, you don't need trained or certified to do any of the stuff
No.
I'm doing.
Okay.
Obviously, if I was trying to get into any of the adjustment aspects, you need to be licensed for
Yeah.
that. But
I didn't know if it was like something where they'll get you in and then get you, certified in certain things where you can do some other stuff.
right, I don't know. Maybe I could ask about that, but yeah, I'm very much hands on. And it's been good. It's been a nice change of pace for me. It's going well so far, and
Do you like that better? That's a little hands-on rather than sitting at a desk.
oh yeah, I can't be in one place too much. Like with all my jobs, even when I like worked back at Mark's, I didn't like the few times that I was just cashiering, because I was just
Yeah.
standing there for 4 hours. I couldn't stand that.
Yeah.
So even just bouncing around aisle to aisle, I needed
Helps
that. So
out.
every now and then I like sitting at the desk a little bit, but after like 20 minutes, I'm like, all right, I got to get up. But I'm usually not doing that. We have a lot of people, they stay busy. So you're constantly bouncing around from this room to hook them up to wires, go to that room to hook them up to decompression. And you're just constantly bouncing around and making sure everyone's good, making sure they're okay. And it's been good so far.
That's good. Usually you know pretty quick if a job's going to be whacked.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say it was a little awkward on Wednesday because the person that I was replacing apparently was not a great employee. I was doing stuff 2 days in that they weren't doing a month in, and they weren't fired yet though. I think they were trying to see if I was.
Wow.
I think they were trying to see if I was decent first,
Before they let
and
you
then
go.
so we both were in on Wednesday. So the morning was tense in the office.
A little shady.
Everyone was like, it was just eerie, kind of quiet, and then
Do they know that you're their replacement?
no.
They don't even assume.
Everyone else.
No, they know now because she
Have
was
they-
fired that day.
Oh, Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, because she kind of created some drama. But
So after a few days, like you worked there for a few days, then she came in after a few days,
Yeah.
and then they let her go.
yes, but I think they're just seeing how I worked out first,
Yeah.
and then but that morning for like a half hour, it was just weird in the office.
Yeah,
Like no one expected. I think they expected her not to come back, and then she did, and
Oh,
it was just like, oh.
this
We're
guy's
all just here,
actually-
and we were kind of overstaffed that day, and it was like,
Yeah, that
but-
is pretty awkward.
worked out.
Works out. So
Good.
I needed a change, and so far it's been good for me. And like I said, it's been a welcoming environment, so I'm happy at the
Yeah.
moment.
Good. So you're not. You're still kind of looking for where you want to set your feet and.
Yeah, and
Right.
I'm not really even looking at the moment, but like we'll see a few months down the road, how I'm still feeling and everything.
trying things out to.
Once the paychecks start to roll in, see
Yeah.
how those compare.
Right.
I did take a pay cut for this job just because like I said, was stressed out a bunch with my other one. It's not all about the money. So far, though, first weekend, I'm chilling.
You think you'll like the people you work with?
I do so far, and actually, we've already gotten along super well. Like their type of humor, very open, like cracking jokes. Literally day one, like it's been
that's
good.
cool.
I was gonna say, if you like what you're doing, it's not, like work stays at work. You like the people you work with. The only thing that should really make you move on would be money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you ride it while you can.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. That's the wave I'm on, and yeah, everyone's been super chill. We already get along great. They seem to like me a lot, which is obviously key.
Mm.
They bought me lunch on Monday.
Nice. You
What
probably
was
make.
the lunch, if you don't mind me asking?
We got Applebee's.
Okay.
Ah.
What'd you get? What'd you get specifically?
I had an irresistible, which is like a Southwest chicken and rice bowl.
Okay.
And this is not an ad, but if Applebee's wants to sponsor us, that's pretty dope. Trav is a diehard Chili's fan, though.
I do love chilies.
It was good,
Fire.
and I can't turn down free food.
Yeah. No, that's nice that they did that.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have long days. There's a 2-hour window of lunch. I don't have to take 2 hours. I could take half hour, I could take an hour, but like the doctors take a 2-hour window, like noon to 2. So I have free time in that period if I want. Or
What do they
downtime.
do? Do they go home?
They dip out, yeah. And then so the other day I went to Panera for a little bit, and then I came back and I got file work ready for the next day. And so like I can take 30 hour and a half, whatever, but also nice little cushion there, not dealing with any patients.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Little break in the day.
So there's a 2-hour break where there's no patients coming in, basically,
Yeah.
and you can do whatever.
I mean, I got to be working
Well, yeah.
to a degree. If I'm on the clock, I got to be working, but
Mhm.
it's simple work. Like even if we're just vacuuming the office or collecting trash
Cleaning
or
up or
like
something.
the stuff that you might not have time for later.
Sure.
Because of the influx of patients coming in.
And honestly, back to the money thing, how much less you're driving, you're probably breaking even on gas money alone.
Yeah, no, honestly, I don't think it's gonna be exactly equal. As I mentioned before, I work multiple jobs, so especially if I was working double jobs that day, that drive home after would just be killer. That hour-long drive home, I would just be so over it. So the fact that now I'm home so much quicker, it really is such a nice relief. I'm not dealing with as much traffic. It's been
That's more worth
Super
it than
nice.
the money, then.
yeah, at the moment it definitely is.
But you're
Yeah.
still coaching on the weekends, right?
Yeah, so I'm still coaching on Wednesdays and I'm coaching all day on Saturdays, which is another thing about this job. They are working with my coaching schedule, which was priority for me. Because I actually got job offers from 3 places, but the two of them, it wasn't going to work with me coaching still, and that's what I'm most passionate about. This one is like, oh, if you have to leave an hour or two early, it's fine. Just let us know. And I'm like, dope. And like, I know my schedule for soccer in advance, essentially, outside of like the first 2 weeks, but I can give them the rest of my game schedule and everything. So the fact that they're willing to work with that is a plus as well.
Cool. Yeah, I texted Eric sometime during this week because I know he was getting a job at a chiropractic office. But shout out to Paragon Physical Medicine, but they followed our Instagram account,
That's not where I work.
and I thought that was where he is employed at, and he had just started, and it was a little strange to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
But it unrelated. But shout out to them for following the account. If you're listening,
It's very.
crack our backs.
Absolutely. And maybe, if you need an ad read, we can talk.
Yeah, we'll throw you on here. What about you said there was another job interview you had? What happened with that?
Yeah, it was just mainly I liked the idea of it. It was going to be working events at the Hall of Fame, but the schedule was just sporadic. Like it changes every week, whether you're doing stuff in the mornings or in the evenings or a mixture. And I need more stability than that right now because, like I said, I'm not giving up coaching. Those kids are my priority. That's what I love doing. And that's always in the evenings. So that every week schedule kind of changing, it wasn't going to be a good fit for me. I liked the idea of it, but it just wouldn't work with what I'm trying to do right now. So
Yeah, that would be cool too. That's the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
it sounded like a cool opportunity, but
There's no end time for those events either. You're there, and then like you might not
exactly.
leave till like 1 a.m. The whole caveat behind the Hall of Fame job is you're gonna see some people that you're gonna remember that for life. Like you're gonna remember all these athletes that come in and like other celebrities that are there for like musicians especially. But yeah, you're getting paid like $14 an hour to.
absolutely.
The Hall of Fame is only paying like most of their employees like $10 to $12 to $14 an hour. So
Yeah, it's more of the appeal of that aspect. Like you said, being a part of those different events and maybe who you might see, what stars or musicians, athletes, whatever, which I would have loved.
Shout out to you for prioritizing those kids too. You got 4 other job opportunities that you never know. They could have been a little bit better than the one you got, but putting them kids first, man, that's pretty cool.
But speaking of that, like the job I just left, that nonprofit, it was so tough my second to last day there because I went and I visited some of the kids that I coached when I started there, and they were in 2nd grade then, and they're in 5th now. And it's just crazy that I've been with them, whether coaching or reffing or just kind of observing or, mentoring them somehow for that long already, and how quickly time flies. It was a little emotional for me.
I'm sure it was. That'd be tough.
But like I said, I had to do it for personal reasons, and they understood.
Yeah, I'm sure most coaches aren't staying around for a lifetime there. There's
No, some are 1 season and they're out.
But you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. If I got rid of that fully, I would not be happy. I couldn't do that. But since I am coaching or assisting in coaching 5 other teams, like I'm cool on that right now.
And the other thing we're talking about today is when we talk about embracing discomfort and pushing ourselves out of our comfort zone. Me, as I consider myself on the larger side, not a runner by any means. I figured, what the heck, we're gonna run a marathon.
All 5 of us.
Yeah, all 5 of us
Running around Massillon, Ohio. Last one to finish has to get spit on.
Okay.
I couldn't think of anything better to say.
No, but
It's gonna be Mike. Mike is a 3-time turkey trot champion. I just want to put that out there.
shout out to Mike. He's a turkey trot goat.
But anyway, back to the marathon.
So just a little bit of background as to where this came from, why I even want to do it. I ran 5K. I ran it this year. And I'm not saying that I love running. It's not something that I typically would say I enjoy either. It's not very fun. I do like it though. I haven't ran. I wouldn't consider myself a runner right now. I try to run a 5K once in a while when I do run. I go through stints where I'll try to run every day 1 week, and then I won't run again for like 3 weeks. I mean, it's not something I'm doing too often. But, there's something in it that I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to discover what it is. Because for some reason, I keep wanting to do these long runs. Like I ran a half marathon one time on the trail, and I almost died. I ran it with no water. I hadn't eaten anything. I got to mile 10, and both of my quads and both of my calves locked up. And I sat on the ground. I started crawling down the trail. After 5 minutes, I stood back up, and I took penguin steps the last 3 miles.
It was dark at that point.
And it was dark
About it.
on the trail. I mean, there's murderers out there. So I made my way back, and I considered it myself as a half marathoner at that point, but not really.
You need a sticker.
You gotta find the runner's high.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if you can ever hit that, I mean, you'll chase that like the rest of the times you run.
That's the thing. I can get there, but after like on a long run like that, when you're not prepared, that goes away.
Yeah.
I figured that out pretty quick. When your body starts locking up on you.
When did you start feeling like this sucks? Or this
On that run?
Like, yeah, what point during your run were you like?
I was fine until about 3 miles. And after that, I usually run, like I said, 3.1 when I do run.
Yeah.
I try to at least run a 5K. But, anything after that is pretty miserable.
Right.
So it was tough. I didn't stop until I turned around at 6 point whatever.
That was the first time you stopped.
6.6 miles or something like that.
That's
And
so
I
good.
stopped, and I definitely wasn't running fast by any means, but I did finish that part. And then I turned around, and I'm almost in Bolivar, and I started in Maslin, and I'm like, my God, I got to run all the way back.
That's
But-
scary because it would have been dark by then, right? When you turned around.
Well, it wasn't
no?
dark yet.
Okay.
No. I mean, this took me like 3 hours.
Mm-hmm. You did it after work one day.
Yeah, it was a weekday in the summertime.
Doing the math in his head,
That's
thinking
crazy.
how long it takes to get back
Yeah.
before it gets dark.
Yeah, I looked
Sure.
at my watch, and it had already been like an hour and a half, or it was like an hour and 15 minutes to do 6 miles.
Jeez.
I joined the Slow AF Runner group on Facebook, try to get myself motivated. Something started whispering in my ear one day that I need to run a marathon, and I don't know why, but I think it's attainable and I think it's achievable. So we're gonna do it. So when I decided that, I started looking it up, and I was actually gonna run the New York City Marathon. And I started looking up, how you can get into that, and you have to fundraise. You have to apply to run with a charity at my pace. You can qualify or do other things if you're local to New York, but basically anyone out here that's slow would have to run for a charity. So I did try looking into that, and it's like a minimum of $3,000 you have to fundraise for this charity. So, I mean, it's not completely off the table, but I entered the lottery for this marathon. I think it's in February or March, and then the charities open up after that. But we'll see. But we are for sure signing up to run the Cleveland Marathon, which is in May of 2025. And I had reached out to Johnny, actually, and you had told me already. I didn't know this, but he is already running a marathon next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your first one?
Yeah, I ran half marathons throughout my running career, but never a full marathon.
Never a full. Is the farthest you've ever ran a half marathon?
It's a little bit over.
Johnny's more. He ran cross country in high school. So
Yeah, Johnny is a runner.
He's more of a runner, I'd say.
I was more of a runner. I used to be a runner, I would consider myself.
Yeah.
Don't you still run a fair bit though?
Yeah, but after you ran like that in high school, it's a little different.
How would you speak about your goal you had this year?
Well, yeah, I had a goal. As I got back into running, I started running, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago now, or a year and 4 months. But I had the goal because in high school I was thinking I could get 1,000 miles a year, which is it's about 5K a day. So I was thinking I could do that again, but I kind of lowered it to 700 miles, and I hit that. So over the course of a year, so it's just a good practice of consistency.
Mhm.
So
What's that math break down to?
2 something a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then you have room to like miss a couple days, like
Yeah,
whatever
run a
you
little
have things
further.
going on, yeah. And then you get
Yeah.
a 4 mile for a couple weeks. Yeah.
more manageable to catch up if you
Yeah.
got a little behind.
Yeah. So, the 1,000 goal is still there. I think I can do it eventually, but
Yeah.
yeah, as I get more consistent. But yeah, a little over a half marathon was the most I ever ran.
Cool.
So when is the marathon you're doing?
I am doing one in June.
Where's
So,
that?
yeah, it's in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you sign up for that one?
Just a buddy from high school that used to run asked if anyone wanted to run it with him. So
So you had two friends ask if you want to
Yeah,
run a
yeah.
marathon next year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I asked Johnny, and he was like about the New York one. Actually, initially he's hesitant, which
I was
would've
only
been too.
hesitant from raising the money because I've
Yeah.
raised money for an event like that before, a bike ride, and it's tough
Yeah.
to do.
it's hard. Yeah. Did you fundraise at all?
I had to, but I only had to get to like 1,200.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, you got to put your card in, and if you don't hit that number, it just charges you the day of.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So scary.
But the Cleveland one, you just pay in and you get in. So.
Yeah, it's a little more attainable.
What
So-
day in May is that? And do you know what day of the week it is?
I think it's the 18th. It's on a
Is it a
Sunday.
Saturday? Oh, it's a Sunday. I
It's a Sunday.
was gonna say I would go watch it, guys.
You
Yeah.
got PTO.
I
Take
do.
the day
yeah,
off,
I
man.
could do that.
Yeah, come up.
If you're coming, just run it though.
I'll watch.
You could do the half.
I'll run a 5K and then I'll stop.
No, I've actually asked a few people, and I never tell them they're allowed to do the half. They're like, the half actually seems attainable, and I'm like, but what I hear, and I totally make this up. I say, if people say if you can do a half, you can do a full, and I just tell them that, and they're like, okay, I mean, whatever. But I've actually also asked my brother-in-law Justin and Chris, and both of them have said yes, that they will do it too.
Wow.
Good
So
for
we
that.
got them, and just as we're talking about it today, I brought it up to Eric before we started recording, and let's hear it. Are you doing it or not?
All right. So
Because you can't back down if you bring it up on the podcast.
here's the thing. So I've never even ran a 5K. Now listen. I've walked many of 5Ks. I've always wanted to run them, but because of like who I was with or whatever, because like I do some with my mom, and she can't run them, and she has told me she would be okay with me running them, but I just don't want to. I want to stick with her and everything.
So you're talking about like a walkathon, like you're like a breast cancer 5K?
No, yeah, and like we do like the Gordy's pumpkin run and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But like I look at like people's times and I'm like, I feel like I could be up there, and it's actually been something I've wanted to do. And this is gonna sound bad, but the reason I haven't done them is because I don't really want to pay the money.
Really?
Genuinely.
For a 5K?
For just any of these
Anything.
things. But I have a friend who did a half marathon earlier this year, and he's gearing up to do a marathon next year. And I straight up told him, I'm like, I'm in. And,
Really?
and we haven't talked about it since, but he's like, hell yeah, let's do it.
What
So
is
the
going
fact
on?
that you just brought it up, I would like to do it, honestly. I would have to
Yeah.
build to that, but like,
We could all go on
You
a
know?
couple runs, and you could start running a little bit.
Straight
you
up.
know?
The Cleveland one is pretty obtainable.
yeah.
price.
No, I know,
It's
I know,
not,
yeah.
Yeah, it's $110.
But the reason I don't do them more often, because there's 5Ks all the time,
No,
is just because I'm like, that's a lot of money to
Yeah.
be spending.
Yeah.
I get you.
And I'm busy. But no, that sounds like a dope idea. And
you get some swag if you sign up. I think you get a shirt.
I'm down. I'm down.
Free merch.
Count me in.
All right, there it is. We got five. We got a group of 5. That's a team right there.
Yeah.
Now we're not going for time. We're just trying to finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is a cutoff. I think you have to run at least a 16-minute per mile pace. They do open up the roads at a certain point.
Hey, remember when I said I'm in? Cut that out. No, I'm just kidding.
So it's a 7-hour marathon is your pace, and I think that's totally attainable.
Yeah.
That sounds
I think-
right.
I mean, if you work towards it, it should be. So.
Yeah.
It's
I think if you just
Definitely something- we're gonna have to train for it. I mean, we can't.
No, I
just
know,
go
but that's the
down.
thing. I'm about to get. My schedule was off this week with the changing of jobs and the holiday and everything, but I'm gonna be off on Thursday, so I'm about to get a rec membership again. I'm be hitting those track.
Yeah,
track up and
I just
everything.
told Johnny too and Travis I'm probably gonna get back in the rec, and I went for a run this morning and it was
Did you go
20,
outside?
27 degrees, snowing, and I just did 2 miles and my knees were dark red.
I say because like
Yeah.
Because I wore shorts.
It's never a full change for me, a full shift, because I do play soccer, which it's different running, obviously, but because I'm actively running for 3 hours a week, it's not a huge shift for me to get back into just running,
Mhm.
which is nice.
It'll be a little different, but your endurance is there, I think.
Yeah,
You have the mental shift of the fact that you're not like playing a game.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a little stop and go, but
Yeah. So I think everyone I've asked is in the same boat, that this is not something that they would normally do. So this is
That makes
for sure a little bit out there, but I think, with a little training and dedication to it, it's completely attainable for everybody.
Yeah.
I think anybody can really do it.
Mhm.
You just got to keep going. But I'm interested to see what I learned about myself while I'm training, because I'm gonna get on a training program and try to keep up with it and make sure that I'm ready to go when the time comes. And I think there's a lot to learn about yourself along the way with something like running, and maybe that's what I'm trying to figure out. What is that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
takes
I'm
a lot
just-
of discipline. I think that's a good thing. Comes from it.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I will say I did learn something about myself last year. We did a Tough Mudder, which was a 15K. It was like 9.3 miles with 27 obstacles, 28 or something like that. And I was going to prepare for that one, and I really didn't. I ran a little bit. It's a tough one to prepare for because you're running through obstacles the whole time, so it's a little different. You don't need to prepare for it as much. But
You just got to be prepared to get the shit beat out of you.
yeah, and electrocuted and all the fun stuff. So I think 2 days before it, I just ran 9 miles just to see if I could do it. And I did it, and it was fine.
But it's good also like putting it out there, because the accountability of not just us, but like anyone who's listening,
Yeah.
and just to check the progress with all of us. Johnny's will be the easiest because he's been doing this, but
But it's still not easy. It's
not easy
yeah,
at all. But he's got more of that runner mentality already and everything. So,
Yeah.
but we can do constant check-ins and everything, which would be good.
So for anybody who's out there and thinks they want to get into running or something, go for it. Stay in contact. Well, anybody can do it. It's not an unobtainable thing, and it's good for everyone's health. So get into it. Try it. I've had a couple ideas that I've been bouncing around in my head about the format of the podcast, and an idea I had that I just wanted to bring up to you guys is, we get in here and we talk about new things that we're trying. We're kind of in the process of discovering life, I would say, in a way, and we're trying new things. And my thought is potentially going to a weekly show, and this is all based on getting guests. So we would do our normal show, and then in between, and I don't want to bog you guys down on time because this does take some time to do. But it'd be me or anybody else who'd want to join in that off week where we could find a guest who's kind of figured something out. Like I'm thinking business owners, I even throw out like the mayor of Maslin, Mr. Slutz, if he wants to jump on, he can jump on. Just people that have done something that they're super proud of, and they took some risks in their life, and they jumped out of their comfort zone and maybe had a little bit of a different path to get where they're at. But I thought it'd be good to talk about that with them on our off weeks and see what they did, and maybe apply that a little bit to about what we do and what we talk about, and maybe influence us in what we decide to do next to push us out of our own comfort zone. So it's an idea that I think makes a lot of sense, but we got to get people on and get guests first. So I don't know who that would be. So if anybody is interested, reach out. Let me know. But I might reach out to some people sometime to see if they want to join in. And if that's you, give us a shot. But yeah, so that's just another idea as far as where this thing might go. Hey, a big part of trying these things is that we're going to fail often, and not everything we do we're going to like, or it's not going to work out every time. And we need to talk about that too, because that's part of it. We got to embrace that as well. You can't get discouraged if you try something new and you don't like it. That's why people stop trying new things.
It's
So-
also okay to change your mind at times.
All right. And that's a wrap on today's episode of the Incredibly Average Podcast. We hope you're feeling inspired to step out of your comfort zone, even if it's just a tiny bit. Remember, growth doesn't happen in the easy, familiar places. It happens when we challenge ourselves and embrace the discomfort along the way. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who could use a little nudge to break free from their own comfort zone. We'd love to hear your stories too, so don't forget to connect with us on social media and share your experiences of stepping into the unknown. Until next time, stay comfortably uncomfortable and keep being incredibly average.